Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya.
Shri Shailesh Dayapatram Dibhaktyadi Gunarnavam Yatindra Pravanam Vande Ramya Jamataram Munim Lakshminatha Samarambham Nathayamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yo Nityam Achyuta Padambuja Yugma Rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Trinayamene Asmadguror Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye Lokacharyaaya Gurave Krishnapadasya Sunave Sansara Bhogi Sandashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha.
श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसार भोगी संदष्ट जीव जीवातवे नमः. I am sorry for the delay in starting the class. I sincerely apologize and for the inconvenience caused to the persons who are part of this class. Today I am in Melkote, Tirunarayanapuram, and the reason for the delay in starting the class was the divine procession of Ramanujacharya, who was taken in a procession in a covered palanquin. It is called Pushpapallak Utsavam. So the appearance day celebrations of Ramanujacharya are held in a very unique manner in Melkote. In every divination there is some uniqueness, but in Melkote or Tirunarayanapuram it is very, very unique. Because here the great Ramanujacharya is accorded the status of the king. So in the Yadugiri Narayana Stava, a very divine composition propitiating the Lord of Melkote or Tirunarayanapuram, it is mentioned as follows: Edhatam yatirajasya samrajyam sarvato mukham yatra sampat kumaropi yuvaraja padaspadam. So Acharya Ramanujacharya is the monarch of Melkote. So in the temple, before the worship of Narayana takes place, the worship of Ramanuja takes place first in Melkote. Though he is an Acharya who had surrendered at the feet of Lord Narayana, here we give more prominence to Ramanujacharya than the Lord himself in many ways. So we consider Sampat Kumara or Shalvapillai the Utsava Murti as the Yuvaraja or the heir apparent. So Ramanuja is the monarch, and therefore the celebrations, he is the crown prince. So the celebrations befit a king in Melkote. That is one aspect. Second aspect is in the Kalakshepa Goshti of Parashara Bhattar. It is when Swami Parashara Bhattar, who was the son of Kuratadvan, who was the direct disciple of Ramanujacharya, he used to conduct religious discourses on these topics regularly. At that time, the procession of Lord Ranganatha at Nambirmal happened to come by. Then it is mentioned in the Guru Parampara Prabhavam, which is one of the seminal works which gives us the history of all the entire Guru Parampara of Shri Vaishnavas, the entire lineage of Shri Vaishnavas, that Shalvar Edandaruluvad Kalakshepa Viruddham. So if you are listening to a discourse Even if the procession of Namberumal comes, you have to give more prominence to the discourse rather than the procession of Lord Ranganatha. So that is what Swami Parashara Bhattar said, and Swami Parashara Bhattar is given the highest status in Srirangam. And I'm sure Keshav Das ji would be aware of those traditions. Because it is said that Swami Parashara Bhattar and Vedavyasa Bhattar, who were twins, they were the direct progeny of Lord Ranganatha himself. So they were the sons of the Lord himself. So even today, the people who adorn their lineage are given the top level honors in the temple. So that is the tradition. That means this activity is more important than worshipping the Archa form, iconic form in the temple. That's what is mentioned in some, when we have to understand the greatness of this, of the discourses of the Rahasya Granthas or the Divya Prabandhas, this is to be given more prominence. That's what our Acharyas say. But on the other hand, if you are in the middle, then that is the thing. But if you are yet to begin, then that gains more prominence, and that gains more precedence than this. Why I am telling this is, these are all the nuances of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So generally, in any other Sampradaya or any other tradition, you are not at all encountered with such questions, because there is no question of a religious discourse and procession of the Lord coming in the main Vidis or the main, what they call the Mada Vidis, both of them coinciding at all. Whereas this happens in Sri Vaishnava Kshetras only. So, when there is such a situation, what should be done? These are the issues that are being dealt with in great detail in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And from an objective point of view, we have to appreciate these things. So that is why I mentioned it. So we'll continue with the reading of the text. Shriyate Shrayate Idarkartham Ellarkum Ivalaipatti Swarupalabhamai Ivaltanakkum Avanaipatti Swarupalabhamai Irikkum Endre. So the twofold meaning of the word Shri is one who beseeches the Lord. That is one meaning. And one who is beseeched by all of us. So the twofold meaning is that we beseech her to seek liberation, and she beseeches the Lord for our liberation and for her own liberation also. But we don't say she's because she's already a liberated soul. So for our liberation. So these are the two meanings. And further, இப்போதோ இவளை சொல்லுகிறது புருஷகாரமாக. இப்போது ஈஸ்வரனுக்கு உபாயத்துவம் உபேயத்துவம் ஆகிற ஆகாரத்வயம் உண்டானா போலே இவளுக்கும் புருஷகாரத்துவமும் பிராபியத்துவமாகிற ஆகாரத்வயமும் உண்டாகையாலே இதில் எவ்வாகாரத்தை நினைத்து இவளை இப்போது சொல்லுகிறது என்ன அருளி செய்கிறார். இப்போது இவளை சொல்லுகிறது புருஷகாரமாக என்று. புருஷகாரமாக என்கையாலே உபாய வஸ்து விசேஷணமாயிருக்கிற ஆகாரத்தை இட்டு இவளுக்கும் உபாயத்துவத்தில் அன்வயம் சொல்லும் பட்சம் நிரஸ்தம். ஈஸ்வரனுடைய நாராயணத்துவ பிரயுக்தமான சுவாபாவிக சம்பந்தாதி ஞானத்தை உடையனாய்கொண்டு அவனை ஆශ්‍රயிக்கிற சேதனனுக்கு இவளை புருஷகாரமாக முன்னிட வேண்டுகிறது. தான் என்னவருடி அருளி செய்கிறார். நீரிலே நெருப்பு கிளறுமா போலே குளிர்ந்த திருவுள்ளத்திலே அபராதத்தாலே சீற்றம் பிறந்தால் பொறுப்பது இவளுக்காக. So it's a very subtle meaning that we have to understand. So the Lord, when we consider the Lord as an independent entity, he plays two roles, as we have earlier known. That is, he is the Upaya as well as the Upeya. Upeya means the end. In a sense, he is the person that we have to attain. And what is the means to achieve this end? He alone is the means. So we say that he is the means as well as the end. So we consider the Lord as a means, and we consider him as a means to what? Attain himself. So I will give an example. Now, for example, there is a businessman. So he says he is heading a big industry. Let us assume that. So he will tell his people, his board of directors or some next middle level managers or something. Now we are actually having a turnover of $1 million. So by 2025, we have to achieve a turnover of $500 billion or $100 billion or something, whatever it is. So how do we do this? So the aim is earning $5 billion or $10 billion. What is the means to that? We have to cleverly invest the money that we already have and try to multiply the money. So what is the end or what is the objective? Earning $5 billion is the objective. What is the means to do that? Cleverly investing the $1 million that you are having. This why I am giving this example is this example may not suit the current context. But for us to easily understand the concept, I am doing this. So you invest money to make more money. So money is the end and money is the means, isn't it? Similarly, you worship the Lord to attain him only. So he is the Upaya, he is the means, and also he is the end or he is the Upeya. So we may worship the Lord as an Upaya, or we may worship the Lord as an Upeya. So I will give another example. Now, let us think about Lord Rama. So he will approach the king Dasharatha and prostrate before him. He may prostrate before Dasharatha because he is his father. And he may also prostrate Dasharatha because he is the king of the land. So, at a particular time, he may feel that the role of father is very important. So he says, I am prostrating to my father. In another context, he says, I am prostrating to the monarch or the Chakravarti or the emperor. So he may prostrate from that point of view also. So the God plays, the Supreme Lord Narayana plays a dual role. That is, he is the person who is to be attained and he is also means. So you worship him both as the means as well as the end. Similarly, what Praladokacharya says here is, Goddess Mahalakshmi also plays a dual role. One role is, she is the person who is to be attained, because we say, as I mentioned earlier, Puru Mithuname Namakku Uddeshyam Ingirapadi. It is the duo of Narayana and Lakshmi together whom we have to attain. So she is the person who is to be attained. That means she is the end. End in the sense objective. That is that which is fit to be attained. And she is also the means, not as Lord Narayana is the means, but she is considered to be what is known as a Purushakara. So what do you mean by the word Purushakara? It's a technical term that is exclusive to Sri Vaishnava philosophy. What does it mean? It means that she recommends the cases of all us Jivatmas, individual souls, to the Supreme Lord Narayana to accept us and grant us liberation. So what Pidalokacharya says is, Ippodu ivadai pattiradu purushakaramaha. In the present context, when you say Sriman Narayana Charano Sharanam, in this context, we are considering Shri, our goddess Mahalakshmi, as the Purushakara. We are approaching her as she is playing the role of what is known as Purushakara, that is, recommending our cases to the Supreme Lord Narayana to accept us, even though we have committed innumerable number of sins. So that is known as Purushakara. So how does this happen? What is the context? What is the role played by Goddess Mahalakshmi? That is explained in the next sutra, where it is said, Neerile nereppu kidaruma pole குளிர்ந்த திரு உள்ளத்திலே அபராதத்தாலே சீற்றம் பிறந்தால் பொறுப்பது இவளுக்காக. அதாவது சீதமான ஜலத்திலே சென்றணுக உண்ணாதபடியான நெருப்பு கிளருமா போலே சுஹൃதம் சர்வபூதானாம் சமோகம் சர்வபூதேஷு என்கிறபடியே சர்வபூத சுஹൃத்தம் சமாஸ்ரயணீயத்வே சமத்துவமாகிற ஸ்வபாவ விசேஷங்களாலே பிரபன்னமாய் குளிர்ந்த திரு உள்ளத்திலே பரிபூர்ணாகசிஜனே ஹிதஸ்ரோதோ விருத்யா பவதி ச கதாசித் கருஷதீஹி என்கிறபடியே சேதனந்தீரக் கழிய பண்ணின அபராதமடியாக க்ஷமாமி நக்ஷமாமி என்னும்படியான சீற்றமிருந்தால் அபராதத்தை பொறுப்பது கிமேதன் நிர்தோஷ கைஹ ஜெகதீதி இத்தியாதிப்படியே தன்னுடைய உபதேசாதிகளாலே அச்சீற்றத்தை ஆத்தி தயை ஜனிப்பிக்கும் இவளுக்காக என்கை. ஆகையாலே சம்பந்த ஞானம் பிறந்தவனுக்கும் அபராத பயத்தாலே புருஷகார புரஸ்கரணம் அபேட்சிதம் என்று கருத்து. So it's a very important and very deep and long discourse. So what is the meaning here? First I will explain the meaning of the shloka that has been quoted here by Swami Manavala Mamani while commenting upon this sutra. The literal meaning is this: குளிர்ந்த திருவுள் நீரிலே நெருப்பு கிளருமா போலே. So there is the example that is available to us in nature is what they call as the Badavagni. So there is a volcano that comes out of water. So suppose there is a huge body of water which is covering a mountain, but suddenly from inside the mountain there is a huge volcano that erupts. So when the volcano erupts, what happens? The heat is so much, that is, it will be several million degrees centigrade or whatever unit, mathematics unit you call. It will actually melt all the water and suddenly the volcano will erupt from within the water. So just what he says, what Pidalokacharya says is, just like the volcano erupts from within the water. Actually, water and fire are two opposite entities. They can never be together. Where there is fire, there cannot be water. Where there is water, there cannot be fire. But in some cases, that is, as an exception, we have volcanoes erupting from within the water. Similarly, neerile nereppu kiluruma pole, in water, just as there is a volcanic eruption from within water which is very cool. குளிர்ந்த திருவுள்ளத்திலே, the inside the heart of the Supreme Lord Narayana is very cool. So you can have cool in the sense it is not hot. You can also have it as cool when you say, suppose I have an iPhone and iPhone 13 and so many things become very easily you can do things. Then you say, hey, cool, it's very cool, yeah. You say, oh, it's a very cool gadget, you say. Cool means you are not meaning that it's not hot, it's like water or something like that. You use the sense, you use the word cool in a appreciative sense, isn't it? So, in that sense, the heart of the Lord is so cool, it's so nice. But what happens? Aparadattale sheetram pirandal. Very, very important aspect is the Supreme Lord has given special instructions or specific instructions with regard to the do's and don'ts of that we have to follow, that every human being has to follow. Especially those who are evolved and those who are exposed to the Shastras. So what do you mean by the Shastras? The Shastras, that Shastra itself means Shasanat Shastra. That which commands you. So in Christianity, you have the concept of commandment. What I have understood from that word commandment is that which cannot be transgressed at all. That is known as a commandment. So in the modern parlance, you can say it's the command of the king. That is when you had the kingship or when you had the monarchy prevailing. If the king passes an order, you cannot transgress it. If you transgress it, you will be sent to the gallows. Or in the modern context, of course, today we cannot say anything about it, but just theoretically speaking, in India, if there is a Supreme Court order that this has to be done immediately, you cannot disobey it. So what Parashara Bhattar says in another shloka is, Hartum tamaha sadasati cha vivektum ishaha manam pradipamiva karuniko dadati. The Lord has bestowed upon us all the Shastras. What are these Shastras? These Shastras are like light, which is given to us in a dark room. So suppose you have to go to a dark room and get something, how do you do it? You cannot do it without the help of a light. You say, bring a light immediately. So then, when a light is brought, you maneuver yourself because there might be a sofa set, there might be a bed, there might be something else. You maneuver with the help of the light in a dark room. You maneuver yourself, then go to some place. There might be some money or something kept in a box or something like that. You will carefully maneuver your way through the room and then approach the box, searching whatever it is. Then get the object that you require and then bring it back. So without the cooperation or without the help of a light, you cannot maneuver in a dark room. Similarly, the Supreme Lord has given us what is known as the Shastras, which ordain us to do something and also desist from something. So telling lies, hurting others, censuring others unnecessarily, acquiring properties and other things belonging to others by force. And as I mentioned, telling lies, etc., aspiring for things belonging to others, etc. These are the don'ts. So engaging in helping others, telling the truth, maintaining a proper lifestyle in line with in harmony with nature. These are the do's. So the Supreme Lord has given the Shastras to us, which actually ordain or proclaim the do's and don'ts, which help us lead our life in a virtuous manner. Artum tamaha sadasati cha vivektum. Manam pradipamiva karuniko. The Supreme Lord, who is very much compassionate towards all of us. That is why they say the most important quality that is useful to us in the Supreme Lord is his qualities such as compassion, etc. So out of compassion, having me, so here he is the person who is responsible for all of us to be born in this world. So after we are born, he gives us several options. We can take the bad path or the good path. So to distinguish between the good and bad, sadasati cha vivektum, sat asat. Sat is the good and asat is the bad. To distinguish between these two, what has he done? Manam pradipamiva karuniko dadati. He has given us a light that will help us maneuver properly and engage in good things only and desist from bad things. So when he has given all the facility, still if we engage in bad deeds and desist from good deeds, it is natural that he will get angry. Though he is a very cool person, he is always very liberal and liberal to the core. Still there is a limit for everything, isn't it? Suppose there is a father who loves his children very much. Even if they commit some mistake, he will not mind because he loves them so much. But there is a limit to everything. So if that threshold is crossed, or that limit is transgressed, even the father will get angry. He may scold the son or the daughter, get lost. Don't stand in front of me. I don't care where you go. Though he really cares in the heart of hearts, when he becomes angry, there is no other go but telling, get lost and don't stand before me. Similarly, the Supreme Lord also, Kulirinda Terullattile, his heart is so compassionate, his compassion personified. Everything is fine. But still, when a Chetana or individual soul doesn't care about all these things, doesn't follow the do's and don'ts that are laid down, then there is every possibility that the Lord will get angry because of the performance of bad deeds by the individual soul. Aparadattale shitram piranda. So by the bad deeds of the individual soul, the Lord will definitely be angry with us individual souls. Then what happens? The goddess Mahalakshmi, who plays the role of the mother, she says, please don't get angry with this individual soul who is our son or daughter or whatever it is. He is our progeny. And she says, who in this world has not committed a mistake? So it is quite natural that these individual souls engage in committing mistakes. So please discount the mistakes that he has done and accept him. Let us accept him to our fold. So this is what is the role of Goddess Mahalakshmi in helping us transcend the material world, transcend this world of what we call transmigration, where we keep migrating from one body to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. So this has been very beautifully summarized in one shloka by Swami Parashara Bhattar, which is quoted here by Swami Manoharananda. Ite vatvat preyam janani paripurnagasi jane hitasroto vritya bhavati cha kadachit kalushadhihi kimetat nirdoshah kaiha jagati iti tvamuchitairupayaih vismarya swajanayasi mata tadasinaha. So, Pitevat Tatpreya. So he addresses Goddess Mahalakshmi and says, your consort, your husband, Lord Narayana, is like the father. So this is the father-mother-son relationship I am referring to was prevalent in the Indian society until our childhood, or even sometime after our childhood. Today, all the roles that were traditionally there in the Indian society have become totally, they have gone to dogs, to put it in a very ordinary term. So generally, the father was a very strict person because he was worried about the long-term welfare of the son. Whereas mother is more interested in fulfilling the wishes of the son or the child. For example, I'll give a very simple example. Suppose a child is enamored of chocolates, but his young teeth, at a young age, the teeth are very supple. So, if he eats chocolates, the teeth are going to go bad. They are going to get infested with or infected with diseases. So then the boy will have a bad time, undergoing a lot of pain. He'll say, my tooth is aching or something. So next time father will say, no chocolates hereafter for 2 months or 3 months. So traditionally the father is interested in the hita, which is the long-term welfare of the son. But the boy is enamored of chocolates, he wants to satisfy his taste buds. So he will go to the mother and say, Mom, please give 1 chocolate, let me eat. Why don't you? Of course, I'm having some problem, but I cannot stay away from chocolates. Please give me 1 chocolate. Then father will say, nothing doing. Strictly you desist from eating chocolates. But mother will say, oh, this small boy is asking, how can I prevent his, how can I say no to him? And she may give it up. This is one aspect. But as far as Goddess Mahalakshmi is concerned, what she does is, she says, please accept this boy, this Chaitana, who is our own son. Of course, he has committed a lot of sins. But who in this world will not commit sins? So this is very beautiful. There is an analogy which comes in Ramayana, which is to be noted and to be explained in this context. So when in the Ramayana, you all know the story, I will not repeat the story. After Ravana was killed by Rama, there was a discussion. Who should convey the news of the death of Ravana to Sita? Then Rama said, who else but Hanuman or Anjaneya, who has been our messenger all along? So let Hanuman go and convey this good news that Ravana, who had abducted Sita, has been killed. Then Hanuman goes to Sita and says, Ravana has been killed and you have been liberated. Then Sita says, good, okay, now I am liberated. She doesn't rejoice the death of Ravana. She says what had to happen happened. Because there's a very, very interesting which we saw in the Tirumantra Prakarana, the first thing that Ivadil Sannidhiyale Kakam Talepettadu Arillamayale Ravanam Mudindu. If Sita were to be present on the battlefield between Rama and Ravana, Ravana would never have been killed. Because she would have said, have mercy on him, have pity on him, let him go. So she does not rejoice the death of Ravana. She says, okay, what has happened had to happen has happened. Then Hanuman says, now I have brought you some good news. I want a boon from you. In those days, when people like the queen or the prince, princess, etc., was conveyed some good news. Generally, they would honor the messenger with some gift. So Hanuman said, please give me a gift. You do me a favor. Sita said, okay, fine. Ask what favor you want. Then Hanuman said, all these days, these demonesses, the Rakshasis, they have troubled you so much. So that is all very explicitly mentioned in the Sundarakanda, how they troubled Sita all along, how they afflicted her and how they censured her, etc. So these Rakshasis or demonesses have been they have put you to so much trouble. So Hanuman asks for a boon, and he says, when Sita says, I have granted it to you. So he says, these people have troubled you so much, and now I want to take revenge on them. And you please allow me to take revenge on them by afflicting all types of, that is, abusing them or giving them physical, or whatever you call, what do you call that? How do you say it? I'm not getting the right word actually. So I want to physically trash them, to put it in a very, abuse them, or I want to give them a nice thrashing. Then Goddess Sita says, a beautiful shloka. Papanam va shubhanam va vadharhanam plavangama karyam karunamaryena nakaschinna paradhyati. So this shloka is one of the best shlokas in Ramayana. Every shloka is the best, but this is the best among the best. Because this is where we understand that Sita is compassion incarnate. She is the personification of compassion, and Sita is nobody but Goddess Maharani. So what she says, until now, there are several, to explain this shloka, it will take 1 or 1.5 hours, because there are so many aspects to become conveyed. So what Sita says is, Papa nam va shubha nam va padharhanam plavangama. Until now, in the entire Sundarakanda, if you see, she was conveying Hanuman as Hanuman, Anjaneya, etc. But here, she calls her, oh monkey. Oh monkey, what are you asking for? Because Papa Anamba, there might be a person who may have committed several severe, heinous crimes. He might have considered some good things also. He or she might have considered something which warrants the penalty of death. But under all these circumstances, Karyam Karunamaryena, the best quality that is to be shown by us is compassion. And then she gives a very pithy, very beautiful statement. And she says, Nakaschite na aparadhyati. There is no person in this world who has not committed the sin. So Nakaschinna aparadhyati is a very oft quoted sentence of Ramayana. Because he says, in every context, you have to show compassion to a person who has committed a sin. So that is what is mentioned here. Kulirndatare ullattile aparadhattare sheetram pirandal poruppade ivalekkaha. So Sita goes on to elaborate. He says, did the demonesses have anything personal against me? They were just obeying her. their master, that is Ravana. So should you not take it into consideration? That's what she pleads with Hanuman. So the nature of good people is that even when a person has committed a heinous crime, you say he might have committed out of a fit of anger, why do you worry? But once again, the question arises as to, then should people who have committed crimes not be given that's it? So we should not confuse or contradict these two questions. In that case, then you should not have any court, you should not have any jail, you should not have police, etc. That questions comes at a different level, not at the ordinary level. So this is the context of what is this? Who in this person has not committed a crime or a sin? Rather than crime, use the word crime, sin. All of us are sinners. Therefore, tamuchitair upayair vismarya, you use all the aspects under your control to make the Lord forget the sins of us jivatmas. And then you help all of us attain liberation. So this is the role played by Shri, which is known as Purushakara, or recommending the case of the Jivatmas who are sinners, so that the Lord discounts all our sins and He ignores all our sins. He pardons all our sins and then grants us liberation. So in this context, we are specifically addressing Shri and asking her to play the role of Purushakara. So that is the purport of this sutra. We'll examine the word by word meaning and other aspects in the next class.
So somebody was noting, Swami, that His Holiness Chinajir Swamiji has listed this sloka, this verse by Sita, as a type of charma sloka for Sita.
Which sloka?
The one that you just mentioned.
Yes, of course. It's a very, very important shloka, very significant shloka.
And so have some acharyas written more elaboration on it?
Yeah, of course. Periyavachan Pillai has given a very wonderful and elaborate commentary in his Tanishloka Vyakhya. That is, Periyavachan Pillai has commented upon individual shlokas of Ramayana, where he has given several wonderful hidden meanings of the Ramayana. And he has very beautifully commented upon this shloka also. Ached Ramanujetyesha Chatura Chaturakshari Kamavastham Prapadyante Jantavo Hantamadrisha Punyam Bhoja Vikasaya Papadhvan Takshayaya Shimanavirabhut Bhumu Ramanuja Divakaraha Nikrita Virincharirankushay Bhutayaha Ramanujapadam Bhoja Samashrena Shalinaha. Most important aspect is it is very beautifully said in another context which my father often used to quote. The main quality that a Sri Vaishnava has to inculcate is compassion. So what is mentioned is Pirar Anartham Kandu Ayyo Ennendal Sri Vaishnavattvam Undu. When the person is undergoing any type of misery or sadness, your mind has to it has to melt. Your heart has to melt by seeing his state of being, because he is undergoing misery. So your heart should be so compassionate that you just melt. Whereas on the other hand, such a person is a Sri Vaishnava. This way in Ramayana, when Rama is described, it says, Vyasane yeshu manushyanam brisham bhavati dukkitaha. Even if he sees a very ordinary being going even a small amount of sadness, Rama himself becomes so sad. But இத்தனையும் பட்டிடுவான் என்றிருந்தால் ஸ்ரீ வைஷ்ணவத்துவம் இல்லை. Whereas on the other hand, when somebody is undergoing some misery, if you say, yes, he deserves it. He deserves to be given this punishment. No, he is not a Sri Vaishnava. But this may give rise to several other questions. That's a different issue altogether. But the purport here is compassion is one of the most important aspects that we have to inculcate in ourselves. So this is the message of the entire episode. Srimate Ramanujaya.
श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रम् धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणम् वन्दे रम्यजामातरम् मुनिम् लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भाम् नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणम् प्रपद्ये लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसारभोगिसन्दष्टजीवजीवातवे नमः।
ॐ नमो